What a beautiful day. I'm amazed I got you, Sinan, because we've been trying this for about 4 or 5 years. We keep saying we must sit down, have a talk about how all this came together. I was surprised to find out that you started off in hotel and business management back in Turkey. You got a degree in that. Over here, you went for a master's in innovation and technology, graduated from DIT. Well, in all that time, was there a clear kind of notion of, I want to run a restaurant of my own, or did this sort of happen to you?
There was always one of my idea was to have my own business, and having that experience, hotel and business management from Turkey, and I did work in restaurant business, hotel business during the college in Turkey. So when I came back here, I could see there was a lot of opportunity back in 1998. So it was always one of my dreams to have my own business.
Well, obviously, like any clever person, you had backup plans. So, for example, you're a software developer when you moved over in 1998. Obviously, that was a kind of a day job, a sense of security. This moment when you graduated from DIT and you went for a coffee in Cabinteely, and you just fell in love with a spot, was that kind of, once you found out that was available or was going to be available, was that like a very big hard decision, or was it a very quick and easy decision?
No, it was a hard decision. In fairness, when the opportunity was there, I could see the building was fantastic. It's stone wall. It was screaming for a proper tapas bar, small dishes. You know, back in those days, 1998, recession was heavily starting from in Ireland, and finishing innovational management, the masters. So the idea was behind Las Tapas originally, something affordable for people.
Right.
Because anybody would love a night out without breaking the banks.
Yeah.
And for us to survive, this business model we thought was winner. So we created the menus, affordable prices, and sourced most of the products from Ireland. Of course, we had the chorizos and the wine and olive oil. All of them was coming from Spain. We sailed through the recession because of the business model.
Well, would you say part of that probably is the absolute dedication? You're working 6-7 days a week, like for like 3-4 years. So that sort of dedication. There's no holidays, there's no time off, there's no kind of let's just take a step back. That's got to be both thrilling, but it's also got to be quite scary, because you're deep into the wool of this, and you have to make it your full-time life basically for a while.
It's true. To be honest, we put every it's like saying we put all our eggs to one basket, and it had to work for us. It had to work for us.
And did you kind of know early on that it was working? Because obviously a big success, but I don't know whether that was, you let yourself believe that, like within a few months? Did it take a few years before you relaxed and thought, okay, we're doing this right, it works?
As you said earlier, like the first 3-4 years was really hard. Like,
right.
We didn't take any holidays for first 3-4 years, and 6-7 days, like 70, 80, 90 hours per week. I was like, I was in the kitchen, I was on the floor, buying, managing the restaurant, managing the stuff. It was hard, but like as soon as the opportunity showed up in Greystones, originally I wanted to have the restaurant in Greystones, but there was nothing available.
Right.
As soon as something came up.
And this is Bell's Bistro, which you mentioned the fact that it'd been vacant for quite a while,
so 2-3 years it was vacant.
Right. So was that a bit of a hard negotiation, because it is an expensive place to start out, but obviously it was in your heart always to do this.
Always, Greystones was our ideal location, and when this showed up, I'm fairly like, back in those days again, around 2008, 2009, we took this lease in 2013 December,
Right.
Greystones. Still, there was a lot of effects of recession, and there was still like a lot of restaurants and bars were closing, and this was vacant. Rent was not over expensive, but it was good rent.
And you opened, I think it was March 2014, and again, I don't know whether there was I don't know if it was like a tough beginning, or whether knowing what you did from the previous Cabinteely experience, this was a lot easier. This was a lot.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like having successful business in Cabinteely when we started here, when we opened, like the day one, we hit the ground, and of course I work with a lot of great people, a lot of my first manager was fantastic. We set up together, Kevin, and he worked with me nearly 2.5 years, and then I had another manager, Sunny, great guy. I had great team, to be honest. And having said, my wife, my kids, Duran, Bella, they work with me since the day one. I'm friends.
Right. And your youngest daughter now is going to join as well, most likely.
She's
Yeah,
going to be
Katie.
15 this year, finishing
Right.
her junior cert, and that's another cycle. Will start herself and all her friends. I will have another 5-6 years working with them, and that's it. Hopefully, after that.
Do they have a choice when it comes to working here?
No, they don't. They love.
But it is family business. I know you mentioned Yvonne now has been so deeply involved,
yeah,
obviously,
she's
from the
involved
word
very
go,
much
and it
so,
was, you know, she was with you in Cabinteely when you kind of recognised this could be our place. And
100%. No, in fairness, if it wasn't 41, I was so busy in Cabinteely, and I was very reluctant taking another project in Greystones. But she was adamant about it. Actually, she got the lease and everything sent, and she did the half of the negotiations by the time I sat down on the table. And
And she was right. It was a good fit.
She was right. She was the one pushing Greystones.
And over the years that you've been here, I know you lived in Ireland from 1998. You lived in Greystones in 2003, and this sort of transformation of Greystones into pretty much a foodie town. Even it's almost entirely food based now. It's like where you go to, you know, sample a million different types of food, and that must have been kind of pretty sweet to recognise that, you know, you're part of something that is everybody recognises. This is the town to go to if you're.
Over the years, like, you know, we are now this December will be 15 years in business, but like, you know, I can see how much Irish people's palate changed, like completely now. Their palate is so educated, and they know the trends, ins and outs, and it amazes me now. Like, you know, we have to be more on the ball than ever, because they know what they're eating, they know what they're drinking, and they expect.
Well, you can see it across the board. There was a time we just thought there was only two wines in the world: a red wine and a white wine, but it's gotten a bit more kind of complicated than that. I must say, since we sat down, every loud engine I could think of, I'm amazed a fighter jet doesn't land here beside us, because everything is just passes by. So this feeling of I don't know whether you maybe years ago got to relax, whether you can never fully relax when you're in a business that is open every day and you're relying on the possibility of customers every day. But have you kind of allowed yourself and Yvonne maybe to sort of feel we've done a good job here, we got it right?
Okay, but like. I think so. Last year, year and a half, we are a little bit more relaxed. In fairness, like, you know, again, I'm working with a great manager, Susie and Bella. Duran is away at the moment, but like, you know, having them beside me just a little bit gives me a little bit of time off. I take a little bit more time off this year.
Right.
Start playing golf a little bit. So
nice. We were supposed to do this Saturday. You had a golf day, so that's kind of nice. So I'm delighted to hear that. But more importantly, just well done, because it is a beautiful spot, and I do think that, you know, Greystones will keep evolving, and there'll always be a little bit of changes. But there's certain things you just feel these belong here. They should be here forever. You know, and I think Tapas feels that way.
Please God, yeah.
Beautiful.